Ooh wee. Vader Games in the building. CIA. CIA is back. The CIA is back. Episode 21. It's November 26th. Week 13 in the Prem. Got a lot to talk about, and it's been a minute. I'm going to do things proper. I'm going to let you know what's been going on with me before we start off with the CIA. I've also sent the link out to those that are all agents of the CIA. So we're going to have CIA intelligent agendas. You see what's here on the screen. You see what the thumbnail was all about. You see how I'm titling it. Toughest EPL challenge since 2018. And I encourage you to go back. And see what we did if you happen to forget or forget what the fight was in 2018. But this is what this league's going to be like this year. Trust me on this one. This is factual. It's factual. The way this season has started, the number of teams, the accumulation of points, it is a fierce fight, and it was a fierce fight in 2018. Now, I'm going to do things properly, all right? If you haven't already, just join the show. Please hit the like button. All right, hit the like button. You're here for a reason. I hope you like what's going on. And on top of that, subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe and share. All right, I need to do a better job. I'll admit, I need to do a better job of tweeting when I'm live. I need to do a better job of actually doing all of that extra stuff and sending out little clips or little elements of the show that really pop off. I'm going to do that. I promise you, I'm going to do that. But those that are loyal, those that are here, those that want to hear the conversation, and those that want to know, if you want to know the agenda points to really place on the rivals, all right? And this could bode well for whether you're a City fan or not, because I'm going to give you agenda points for the ops on this channel, all right? But let me do this. First things first, my peoples come first. My peoples, they're you in the chat. They're you that have hit that like button. And let me see who was the first in the mix this week on CIA episode 21. Let's see who was first in the mix this week with the comment. And the first to drop the comment, DC in the building. Hello, fellow treble winners. That's right. Let's remind them. They all know, but let's remind them anyways. Treble winners, Vader. It's nice to have your shows back. Thank you so much. I missed your good sense. You know what? DC, you're a good one. Thoughtfulness and humor. I appreciate that. I missed the back and forth. I missed the combos as well, seeing you in the chat and going from there. Dre P in the building. This title race is arguably just as tough as last season. And then City has made a better start, in my opinion. Better start than last season? Yes, I agree with you. Rivals will likely splash cash in January. That's what they do. But Dre P, that's another reason. Okay, we just look at the first 12 games, 13 games. That's one reason to see why this is going to be tough. And then, as you described, look at what all of the rivals did before the season happened, before a ball was kicked. Arsenal spent 105 on Declan Rice. All right. We also look at what Liverpool did in terms of they've been talking for maybe the last 2 years how they need to revamp their midfield. The season before that, they revamped their attack. They got their midfield. That was all before a ball was kicked. So that's a couple of things that we need to pay attention to. Two teams, Arsenal and Liverpool, the way they've invested and the way they're talking, and they know their clubs better than I do. The way they're all talking, they're splashing cash in January. They're splashing the cash in January. Hold on, I got my minion here. What's Sorry about that. And then I got Kex 1-0. Hope you're feeling better. I'm feeling a lot better. Didn't know you were ill. Best wishes. You know what, Kex? I wasn't sick. It wasn't that type of illness. You're new to the channel. I actually suffered a quad tendon tear. All right, silly injury. I'll tell you the whole thing at another time, but that's what kept me out. So I had required surgery, needed to rehab, and as a result, I'm back and I could comfortably sit down, have no issues with regards to my quad. The girl RK, let's get it. We're going to get into it. Dre P. Hey guys, did I miss much? You haven't missed much. You're back. We're good. We're going to get into it, and I'm going to remind everyone that haven't been part of the show or know what it's all about. We do a weekly recap, but we also do a preview. When I got other members with regards to the CIA, we go through what happened this week and we preview what's going to happen in the upcoming week. DC, still the coolest intro around. Absolute vibes. I got my little guy. I've asked my little guy to put a beat together for me. It's been months. He hasn't done it yet, but I'm looking to introduce another beat to the channel. So look out for that, DC. Abdallah goes, "Hi Vader, hope you're well." I'm good, my guy. You know what it is. We got to rep. You do your thing on Have Hope HH's channel. I'll try to feature whenever I can, but we got to rep. We got to represent what we do. Abdallah goes, "If Arsenal, Liverpool make signings in January and we don't, I'm missing the league and I'm kissing the league and UCL goodbye." I don't think you need to, because of them investing, it doesn't affect us in the UCL, Abdallah. So you got to be careful with that one. All right, we got to be sharp with our agendas. If the rivals invest, that makes it difficult for us in the league, but it doesn't affect us in Champions League. We can't rely and depend on Stones and KDB anymore. Uncomfortable conversations. I think we're investing to be able to move with them. Obviously, as they're older, KDB I think is going to come back a lot stronger. That type of surgery that had on his hamstring really should prevent it from reoccurring if he does it right. And Stones, we know Stones, his consistency in terms of health is always iffy, but I think we can afford more for him being out based off how we've invested in the defense than with KDB. I'm going to bring my man Pitch Points Gundalorian into the mix. I know he had a busy day. He's involved with academy players and he coaches himself. So always a fantastic perspective. And we got him. We're back. CIA, November 26th, episode 21. We got Gundalorian back. How you doing, Gundo?
Hey, good evening. How are you?
I'm good. You sound loud and clear. You're good to go. I was just letting everyone know that we're back. We got to do a proper preview. We always come with the intelligent agendas, and it's going to be no different this week.
Yeah. I was just listening to all the comments. I guess some people you can't convince. I think they rely on you as a crutch to help them feel better. The reality is something I just don't engage as much anymore because you just can't convince them. If you're not convinced with this team after winning the treble, nothing's going to convince you that you're unconvinciable.
You know what?
There's nothing that can convince you. There's just nothing.
Sometimes the confidence needs to be shared.
I mean, let's say we win nothing. Who cares? Don't these guys deserve to have a fallow year? All things equal, if we don't win anything?
It depends on how we lose. It depends on how we lose nothing. Yeah. I want you.
My point is, right, we're in November. We're there. We have a better record this year than we did last year and the year before.
That's true.
It's not how you start, man. It's how you finish.
I'm with you.
It's not the fact. Listen, I mean, we're assuming that we're going to get 104 points this season, or Arsenal will get 105 points. That's not happening. We're going to drop another 10 to 12 points. So what are you going to do then? Are you going to cry? You're going to cry? What are you going to do? Cry? You're going to do something crazy to yourself?
Well, you know what? We're going to get into it. So you see what's below me. I'm going to remove this from the screen shortly, but toughest EPL challenge since 2018. And it's like that for many reasons. Again, we talk with intelligence here. The fact that we've won 5 out of 6, all right? Winning that 6-1 becomes harder. It doesn't become easier. You have many ops around you investing. A lot more familiar with what you like to do as a team. They're all prepared to want to knock you off that perch. That's going to make this season, 2023, 2024, that much tougher to do. And we've also seen how many, even before a ball was kicked in the offseason, they spent to strengthen. So we're going to have that going forward. Yes, go ahead.
Are afraid of buying? You think Bayern Munich are afraid of buying Leverkusen because they're second in the league in Germany? What have we become? With all the stuff that these guys have won, why do we still have this mentality of fear, of concern, of, oh, what if? No, why? Why? You've won 5 out of 6. Why do we have this mindset of, what if something happens? What if they outspend us in January? I don't have any confidence in the team. What kind of person are you? What if you're a Chelsea fan? What are you going to say then? Or a Spurs fan who lost, all these players and lost 3 in a row? Yeah, and have a week rest.
Many of them are panicking. Many of them are panicking. And we again, I know what you're addressing, Gundo. We don't need to panic, and that's why we got this show. This show will add some comfort to those that need it. This show will also add some details or some facts that they may not be aware of. And on top of that, this show is going to provide the context to just know we take this week by week. Rivals will be ecstatic. They will be celebrating. They will be quick to tell you we're top of the league, right? Because it's week 13. We don't need to go that route. We know that this league is getting decided in the latter stages, literally on the 38th week. That's when we've decided this is how we're winning things. So we're all calm right now. What I want to review and remind everyone is that at CIA, we deal with the threats. Okay, we deal with the threats. Those are ops. Those are maybe contract issues. That may be transfer rumors. We deal with those threats, whether internal or external. Then we also deal with the targets. And the targets, which I like, happen on many shows. It happens on True City Fan Show. It happens on Gunnar Lawrence Pitch Point Show. It happens over at the Mancunian Way. We talk about targets on players that may be coming over, and on Pitch Points in depth player analysis. And we bring all that information here. And from a mission standpoint, we're just going to make sure that you guys know what to take as value and what to use, what the weaponry, the agendas to use versus your rivals. But what we're also going to do, let me take this off screen, is that we're going to have wrong one. We're going to have a proper look at the standings. I haven't done this a while, so hopefully everything looks clean here. Yeah, maybe I need to make that a little bit bigger. Because, yeah, the inform doesn't really matter. But we've got that on screen, and I'm actually going to move over. Sorry for that noise. Okay, but we got the standings on screen. I'm not sure if you're able to see it, Gundo, and I'm going to talk out loud so those that are maybe just listening and not watching YouTube right now can get it. But top of the standing is Arsenal. After 13 weeks, 13 match played, they've got 9 wins, 3 draws, and 1 loss. They're top of the league. All right, they got 30 points. Next is City. And as Gundo mentioned, we actually happen to be in better standings this year than we were last year. All right. So after 13 games, we've got 9 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. Okay, at 29 points. Next up is Liverpool. And we've been quick to tell you from a threat standpoint, Liverpool is the one that we're like, okay, let's pay attention. Let's see what Klopp's doing. Let's see who they've acquired. Let's see who's healthy. Liverpool have been that team because we know that it can go to week 38. It can easily go to week 38 with them and trying to win this league. Arsenal, not so much. Arsenal will, at most, lead for 93% of the league and then fall off. But Liverpool will take us to the final day. And on one of the 5 or one of the 6 years, they actually won a damn thing. So we got to respect them. Next up is Aston Villa. Aston Villa, 9 wins, 1 draw, 3 losses. And sorry, I forgot to say, Liverpool, 13 games played, 8 wins, 4 draws, 1 loss. I'm going to be honest with you, Gundo. I don't think we need to extend our threat level beyond those teams.
You know my perspective on this.
Well, here you got to tell the people, man.
Well, Arsenal not a threat. It's not a threat, man. Look, by Christmas time, Liverpool will be top. Okay.
Okay.
Liverpool will be top by Christmas Day. Okay.
Okay.
That's what's going to happen because we're going to be in Saudi. We're doing our what do I call it? Our Club World Cup stuff. Yeah. They're going to play Arsenal on the 23rd. They're going to beat Arsenal at Anfield, and they'll be top. That's what will happen. Okay, so forget about Arsenal. Arsenal are not the threat, mate. I keep telling you this. It is Anfield. It's Liverpool, and the reality is, and I saw many things in the game yesterday that made me encouraged. Yeah, a lot of great things. We played them without De Bruyne and Stones, argue 2 of our best players, and they couldn't beat us.
Yeah,
with a full squad, and they had a squad. Let's be clear.
Yeah,
right. Everybody was there except for Thiago, who hasn't been fit for like 10 years. Okay. Yeah. And they made all the subs that they had to make. Still couldn't take the 3 points, which tells me we get De Bruyne back, Stones back, Kovacic is fit, Nunez is ready. We got Jack back, right? That's 4 players I just mentioned who didn't play yesterday and still couldn't beat us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they will try. Again, I think we take our 4th come May, June next year.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, Arsenal are not a threat to me. They're just not a threat. They're not as good as they were last year. They don't have as many points as they had last year. They don't have as many goals as they did last year, right? Even the game that they won against us, we're the better team generally.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I just don't see it. Well, I mean, they haven't been to 94 points. The best ever was last year, and they got what, 84, 83 or something.
Yeah.
Right.
So let me say this, because it's here on the screen, and we got to do it proper. We got to do it proper. So after Aston Villa, we've got Tottenham
No, it's
and Tottenham.
Tottenham Sunday. So the most important games for us are the next 3 games: Tottenham, Villa, Palace, Luton. Those 4.
No. Sorry, no. I get all that. I mean from a
Oh, table.
who's going to be in the mix? Yeah, from a table standpoint. So we got Tottenham, we got Man United, we got Newcastle, we see Brighton there, we see West Ham at 9, we see Chelsea at 10th, we see Brentford 11. How far down do you think, or even is it name recognition from a club standpoint, or is it the standings as you see right now? Should there be concerns? Should any of us be looking in our rearview mirror? Maybe not to surpass us, but to get in the mix of this top 5, top 6. When you look at Tottenham, United, Newcastle, Brighton.
I mean, obviously, you look at the big names, you expect them to be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Liverpool, City, United, Chelsea, and Liverpool, City, United, Arsenal, and what's their name? Spurs will be there, right? They'll be. That's the 5, I would think, that will be there.
Okay.
In terms of a threat title, it's Liverpool.
It's Liverpool. I'm not mad at that. Let me go to the comments real quick. I see DDFR goes, I really do think Liverpool are overrated, as Arsenal aren't as good as last year. Look at how many games they are scraping. The scraping is a key thing. As Gundo was talking about the stats, I agree. They're not attacking at that clip that they used to within their offense, their attack. But I think they're also making life a lot more difficult defensively. Could that be because they're not as attacking and they're holding possession more, so the ops don't get as many opportunities? But they're slightly off. Zane goes, our midfield was flat and terrible until Gravenberch came on. Yeah, it's true. Gravenberch made a difference. I think Gravenberch being fresh, playing against tired legs, also made him look a lot better. But I think moving forward, Klopp probably trusts him. You'll probably trust him, McAllister, and Szoboszlai, I think, in that midfield next time around, if you don't splash the cash in January and get the 6 or defensive mid that all you guys are talking about. Dre P, I will say, in my opinion, neither City, Liverpool, or Arsenal are playing at their best. City and Liverpool are in transition. Arsenal, however, if they don't win this season or next, it will be very tough. I agree with you. In terms of squad building, having your spine, having the key players, Arsenal, I think that transition for them is over. They've invested. This is win now for Arsenal. With regards to Liverpool and City, obviously we are in transition. Despite the amazing season that we had last year, the players that we've let go and acquired, we're in a transition. And I think Liverpool, with what they invested 2 seasons ago, I think they handled their attack. This season, they've handled their midfield. Yeah, they're talking about a defensive mid, but there's maybe one player that they're still in need of. If I were to go transitions, Arsenal, maybe the strongest in terms of how they've invested, what they've got, the personnel that they have. Liverpool next, and then City. We're kind of like right there, but I'm splitting hairs between us and Liverpool. DDD goes, City just look really tired. Have such a thin squad. Need to just survive a few injuries. Yeah, we need players healthy. That's really just it. We need players healthy, and we'll get into the game. Obviously, we do a recap of what happened the week before. We do a preview, and I'm gonna put that on screen. But yeah, we just need to get healthy again. Zane, the league is really tight this year because the gap from 6th to 1st is only 6 points. It is, and that's why it's reminding me of 2018. Go back and check 2018, the first 12 games. Really tight. Key teams too. Key teams, dangerous teams. DC, our squad is wafer thin. Not sure where others insist we have massive squad depth. It's lazy, DC. We know the rivals are lazy. They'll just repeat broken records, say the same things that they said the last 5 seasons, because that's kind of like how they see City. They don't realize, and it kind of speaks to our success, speaks to our greatness, that they think that we're doing this with huge investment and huge player depth. It's not the case. Dre P, DDD, City needs, in my opinion, to include a few more youth when, I think he wants to say when fit, when hit with major injuries and at the club. Yeah. I don't think the game really. No, you know what, Dre? It's a fair point. One could say, could Pep have trusted Rico to play a role in the midfield when he saw some tired legs? Does he take Alvarez off and ask Rico to play a little more of a midfielder role and not as attacking, or does he take Foden off and put on Oscar Bob just for fresher legs, and maybe a little bit of attacking threat? One could ask those things, but I think all in all, we're just managing a thin squad due to injury. We just have to manage through it. So let me do this. Vader game. I'm gonna keep this show actually really, really sharp and concise. I want to talk about what just happened, because we've been watching games. We were all eager. International break. We wanted to see what's happening. I'm gonna be honest with you. With the City game happening at 7:30 my local time, as well as Carl's, I was able to catch the game, and then after that, I was not glued to the screen watching any of the remaining games for the day. I'm still due to kind of get caught up with that. But I'm going to address this because we're going to deal with 7th. We're going to deal with Newcastle, and Newcastle's last game happened to be against Chelsea. And the reason why this game's important is because Chelsea had their 4-4 draw against us just before the international break. We suffered a 4-4 draw. All right. That's how I'm phrasing it. We suffered a 4-4 draw to Chelsea, playing at Stamford Bridge. And many wanted to kind of overreact and say our defense is not up for it. How could we let Chelsea score that many goals? Can we fix up and be ready? I think Chelsea just played the game of their lives against us. I think we were obviously sloppy, and we tend to be sloppy going into international break, unfortunately.
It's not that. I mean, if we look at things from a forensic perspective, from a really forensic perspective, it's a lazy argument that people say, oh, how can you let Chelsea score 4 against you? Chelsea were 2-0 up against Arsenal, battered them. Keeper makes a stupid mistake, gives it to player, an Arsenal player to score a goal.
Mm-hmm.
Another mistake, and it's a free goal. It happens.
Yeah.
Right? Chelsea play Liverpool at home, battered Liverpool. Right? Freak result was the 1-1. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So they haven't lost to any of the real contenders, right? Because they're at home and they have pride, and they're good players, and they'll step up. To play against Tottenham at Tottenham Stadium was 4-1 after 2 sending off. So right?
Yep.
We need to. I mean, we as fans need to stop this childish. Oh, look how this is the game. Every game is different. You cannot pull a plumb line from one game to the other and say, oh, if they played X, you played Y, therefore you're X and you're Y. No, it's a different game. They're going to step up. Anybody who plays City are going to step up because they're playing not just the English champions, the treble winners, but the champion of Europe.
Yeah.
That's why when they score a goal, that's why when they get a point, like on Sunday, they're so ecstatic, and you have Trent putting his hand to his mouth, even though he had a horrible game, because he knows he just played the European champions and they stole a point. They know it.
Yeah.
So we as fans need to think from a bigger perspective, right? What is the big perspective? Big perspective is we have De Bruyne, Stones, Jack out, and we're still 1 point behind Arsenal and game match week 13. And we know we're not 5 or 10 points behind like we were last season.
Right.
We're 1 point. 1 point behind. And if we were to play all our games in December, assuming we didn't travel to Jeddah or Saudi Arabia, we'll probably be top by Christmas because Arsenal and Liverpool have to play. We'll be Tottenham, it'd be Villa, which won't be easy. We play Luton, we should be top. But does that mean anything? That's what match book of 15 or 16. Does that mean anything? We're not in the match week 19. We're not in 50% of the way through. That doesn't happen until January. So we just need to just have some perspective. I know Marty gets frustrated, a lot of fans, about how we behave and think. We just relax. It's not knockout. This is the league. And there are 75 more points to play for. There are more points to play for than what Arsenal and City have combined at this point in time.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I know it's not panic settings. I agree. I know it's not time to panic or anything like that. And every game needs to be taken for the game in hand. I think had it not been a 4-4 for Chelsea and now going against Newcastle and suffering a 4-1 loss to Newcastle, it's just, that's where it was kind of like, which is the right Chelsea? Which is the accurate Chelsea? And I think
the right Chelsea is a Chelsea that conceded 8 goals in 2 games. That's the right Chelsea, mate.
Yeah. And and again, I agree with you. I think they did show pride playing at home, defending against us, and now playing away, and obviously showing their ability or inability. But yeah, that's Chelsea. Chelsea's next game. Newcastle's next game, because we're going to talk about Newcastle. They're actually the ones that are 7th. Newcastle's next game is going to be Champions League, and I know many of us are going to be really, really eager to see how our team now performs in a quote unquote short week or two games in a week.
All these English teams should be supporting and supporting Newcastle, City, United, and who.
Ooh, explain this. Why should English teams?
Chelsea needs to be begging Arsenal to do well in the Champions League. So do all these other clubs of Aston Villa. You know why? Because next year the UCL goes to 5, but it only goes to 5 based on the coefficient that you get as an FA. So all the teams from England, if they don't perform well, you don't get the 5th spot. And we used to think that the 5th spot was given to you based on historical coefficient. No, UEFA says it has to be this year's performance. So rather than judging you over time, they're judging you based on this year's performance. So United go out on Wednesday, right? That means that City have to outperform everybody else. If Arsenal go out in the round of 16, we're screwed, which that City have to outperform everybody else. So it's to everybody's benefit that all these 4 clubs do well in the UCL to get that fit.
Now explain. You got to explain, because again, I'm asking this just because of how one could look at it, right? Because we're gonna have intelligent conversations. What as a rival, wouldn't I want them to not do well? Because if it only ends up being 4 that leave my league, I'm confident that I'll be one of the 4 to leave the league. Like, should it be looked at that way?
The competition in the Premier League, you don't know.
Yeah,
that's 7 or 8 teams that can look at this year, right? You have Brighton, West Ham in Europe. You have Aston Villa in Europe, City, no Chelsea, no Liverpool. Okay.
Yeah.
Not in the Champions League, then Europa League. So there's no guarantees. So the best 4 English teams do in the Champions League, the more chances that we have of getting that 5th spot, the more chance we have of actually making Champions League next year, which is going to be different too, the way they set it up.
Yeah, I read what Zane's saying here. He's like, he hears you, Gundo, coefficient, good for the league, but he goes, I'd support Newcastle and Arsenal, and maybe shake City's hand out of respect, but United, never in a million years. I understand, Zane. I get all that. I'm not mad at you. Dre P goes, I will ask, do you think the added time helps the rivals? They will score more late goals because they will be chasing goals to the end more often than City, who will try control.
I mean, what I'm noticing this season is that, and I talked to my friends about this, is a lot of teams in the Premier League this season are all playing transition football. We do more transition than we are control. Okay. If you notice. Yeah. Watch the game against today, Everton versus United. Lots of transition. City versus Liverpool. A lot of transition, some control. Chelsea City, transition. Okay.
Yeah.
Tottenham versus Villa today, all transition.
Yeah.
A lot of clubs are playing transition football this season for whatever reason. And maybe it's because we're early in the season. It's kind of lucky we have more points to get. We can all take that risk. Maybe it is. I think the more you get into the season, when the pressure begins to build, like it did last year, when the pressure starts, where every point you drop is a problem, I think you're going to see teams begin to panic. I think teams like Arsenal, Spurs will begin to shake because they can't handle the pressure.
Okay.
Of either being leaders or being or chasing.
I got you. I got you on that one. So yeah, we're gonna move through with this one with regards to Newcastle. They play at PSG in the Champions League, and obviously,
That's
that's a big game. That's a big game. And then 4 days later, they're going to be playing at home versus United. So that's going to be a very good game to watch.
So they're both away. They're both away in Europe then this week.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Let me go back.
United has a big game. They have to win at Galatasaray.
You know what? Funny enough, United's next up. So we're going to talk about United, and they happen to have played against Everton, and I think Everton's in a tough spot. Obviously, they've had to deal with what they've had to deal with regards to the league point deductions and all that stuff. Admitted guilt, and had to play a match with that. But was there too much expected of them to maybe get a draw or get a win against United? Maybe they suffered a 3-0 loss at home. United get that win. I'm sure United fans are going to overreact with the performance. There was a debut. There was a very, very nice goal from Garnacho. Many want to compare it and say it's better to Rooney. I disagree, but it was a very nice goal. And then they go from playing that on Sunday to then playing against Galatasaray, like Gundo just mentioned, on Wednesday, which is a huge game because they needed to survive. They needed to survive in this group stages in Champions League. So we'll be paying attention to that, and then coming out of there, like we've already mentioned, they're going to be playing Newcastle. So we'll see what it's like for United. They've been so up and down, inconsistent, 10 Hag in, 10 Hag out. I don't think United require much attention, to be honest with you. I don't think that their threat level is high. I think they're kind of like just in a coexistence type frame. We as fans should be putting pressure on United, however, because I think the more pressure, the more issues Ten Hag and that fan base is going to have, because they do not have the patience for it. They only know winning, and Ten Hag got a win. It's against Everton though, and it's going to appease them. They're going to be pacified. Let them lose against Galatasaray, exit out of the Champions League, and then get smashed. At Newcastle. I'm going to be here for it. But that's United. Let me do this, and then we're gonna briefly look at Tottenham. I say Tottenham because I have to emphasize everything. Tottenham, but they played. They played, and shout out to the Spurs fans out there. I know it's tough. You guys are going through an injury crisis. I'm not looking at your recent performances, and I'm not judging them based off your manager can't do the job. I think that would be unfair. All right, CIA, we're not gonna be that shameless. I think you're dealing with a lot of injuries, and that's the reason for the poor run. I want this poor run to continue for obviously selfish reasons, because the next game played is gonna be against City at the Etihad, where we need to get this home winning streak started back up again. It's still a undefeated streak that's happening, just so you know. All right. Yes, the home consecutive win streak is over, but the home consecutive non-loss streak is still there. Undefeated streak is still there. So Tottenham played Aston Villa, lost 2-1. Unai Emery up against a Ang's team that had injuries. All right, plain and simple. Injuries are going to continue. They're going to be playing against City. Prediction-wise, we'll get there. We'll talk about predictions at another time. But what we're actually going to say is I'm expecting as thin as our squad is at home, I'm expecting us to get a win against the Spurs. I'm also curious to see how the Spurs go from playing on Sunday, then playing on Thursday against West Ham. All right, that's what they're going to be dealing with. And they, it could be they now have suffered 3 losses in a row at the Etihad, maybe 4 versus West Ham, maybe 5. Another, which will be a London rival. So let's pay attention to that. Will there be talks of manager exits? I don't think there should be. It's an injury crisis, but we've encountered sillier, dumber fans. So let me leave it at that. Hold on, let me see where am I at with the comments. I think, did I put this on screen? I may have, but and not have said it. Dre P goes, the only time I will support United is if we is if they will be needed to take off. Okay, is if they need to take points off of Liverpool and Arsenal towards the end of the season. Hey, smart man, pragmatic. Zane goes, we need to touch on the Garnacho goal, Vader. It's outrageous. It's a beautiful goal. It's a beautiful goal. It's versus Everton, which aren't in the best form. And this is, Zane, this is where I'm getting at, right? Because there was a lot of comparisons to Rooney's goal. Now, Garnacho doesn't, he hits it cleanly. It's a beautiful strike, position and everything like that versus Rooney. But go back and watch what Rooney had to do. Rooney's adjustment to the flight of the ball to make that contact, I think, was a higher degree of difficulty. He was also doing that between a hero of ours, all right, in terms of EsteemedKompany and obviously Richards. But Rooney, I think, had a higher degree of difficulty, not the cleanness of strike, but opponent versus opponent. Rooney did it against City. In this case, Garnacho did it against Everton. All right, no slight, but I think there's a huge difference. People need to slow down. Not everything really needs to be a comparison where one's better than the other. So respect what Garnacho did, but also let's also respect what Rooney did, man. Rooney did something that was dangerous in that one. Dre P, agree with that. Pressure will be a big factor deep in this race. Yeah, pressure is going to be applied on every manager, every team. Trust me. No one's going to be doing this underdog, and we're not expected to be here, or we're just happy to be here. No. All right. Arsenal led the league 93% last year. They've invested in the offseason. They're trying to win this league. Liverpool, same thing. And if Liverpool are going to be spending, Zane, if Liverpool are going to be spending money in January, there's no underdog talk. They are spending to make an impact to win. They got Europa. That's not something major for them to deal with. Winning the league should be an emphasis for your club as well as Klopp. Dre P, United are very, very fortunate so far. How they have so many points is a mystery to me. Everton matched them, just didn't score. Yeah, Everton. They didn't have the quality to score. They didn't have the quality to really make life difficult for United putting a goal in the net. All right, Mancunian goes with you in 5 minutes, mate. No worries. I'm probably only going to be live for another 20. Zane, I know they have injuries, Vader, but they can't end up losing every game until they get their boys back. It's ridiculous. Zane, I'm not doing that. I'm not saying that they don't. They can go winless and these losses that they're suffering is okay because they have injuries. I'm not saying that. I am, however, saying that versus an Aston Villa, which are quality, I have them playing very well. You can kind of give them a bye. They play West Ham next. Should they get a bye versus West Ham? Probably not, but that is a London rival. So I hear you, Zane. I hear you. I shouldn't be so nice to him. I got you. Zeno goes, Alvarez.
Spurs play West Ham next.
Say again?
Spurs play West Ham next? Spurs play West Ham next?
No. After, so
when?
After, let me show you.
They play
after,
next.
Yeah, they play us, but after us, they play West Ham. So what I was pointing out is,
okay.
Losing to us, injury crisis. Okay, get it? Because Zane's trying to say they shouldn't be okay to lose just because they have no players back. But I'm saying losing to City, that's one thing. Losing to West Ham, that's another thing. So yeah, just perspective. Let me put that back on screen now. As I was talking about Spurs, I talked about Aston Villa. again, Emery's doing a very good job. I think he's always been a quality manager. No one ever doubted that or disrespected him on that. I think there was obviously difficult expectations after following their legend Arsene Wenger at Arsenal, but Unai has always been a quality manager. He's got Aston Villa fourth. Aston Villa are focused on their next game is in the Europa Conference League, so they play Legia on Thursday, and then they play Thursday, Sunday, which is usually the schedule from Europa, but they're going to be playing away at Bournemouth. So, and then following that, they play us December 6th. Eesh. Tough games. Champions League, that's pretty much sealed. We'll see what Pep decides to do player-wise, and we'll get into that. I'm sure True City fan or Gunnar will want to do a Champions League kind of preview or discussion. But we've already got that sealed up. It's just a matter of us being top of the group, but we've advanced. So we'll see what Pep decides to do player-wise. But we're gonna have Champions League. We're gonna have Spurs, and then following Spurs, we're gonna have Aston Villa. All right. Let me see what's next. Liverpool. Let's talk about this game now. Let me do this proper. Vader game. Gundo, I got a couple things for you, man. Many things that I'm hearing, obviously post-game press conference, Pep did make it a point that he needs more from the fans. He does need more from the attending fans. He needs that energy. He needs that encouragement. And obviously it wasn't there. If and when Martin's able to join, we'll ask him further. But I think that's one thing. Hopefully, the fans really take it onto themselves to make a difference. Lose their voices at the stadium. Make life difficult for any rival that come in there. And Liverpool in particular. What did you think? What did you think of maybe the atmosphere that you heard, or what did you think of the game that was actually played?
I mean, it's 12:30, right? UK time. It's kind of subdued. It's it's the first shot across the bow between the two clubs, right? Early in November, not much at stake, so the energy is always going to be weird. It's first get back from international break. It's always going to be weird. It's normal. It's normal human behavior. I mean, other times we played them, it's been electric, right? When the stumbling online, it's been electric. So the only excuse is it's just early. It's first back after international break. It's early in the season.
Keep talking. Sorry, I got to answer.
Yeah, that's what it really is about. I don't put too much stock into all this foolishness about, oh, the fans can't do X and can't do Y. It's just the situation. Look around Europe. It's been the same all across. Different clubs. Barcelona drawing, Madrid struggling. Well, they eventually scored. Inter versus Juventus 1-1. It's symptom of it's a symptom of where the clubs are at, given where they are in the calendar. So
yeah,
I think we make too much sausage out of this stuff, and there's other serious things to talk about. It's a great game.
No, it's a very good game. It's a very good game, and I need to go back and watch it a third time, to be honest with you, because the first time's all emotion. The second time, I'm kind of like really looking like individual player wise, and the third time for the big games like this one, I want to look at how the ops are moving against us, how we are being defended against and attacked. So, I look forward to seeing that. But I agree, it's a game against Liverpool. Even in the heat of our battles, it's always been let's not give them a win, them not give us a win, and that's how we battle things out at home. After going into an international break, coming out of an international break, I'm always not sure what to expect, right? But I thought for who we had available from a team standpoint, squad standpoint, I wasn't mad at it. When I really sat back and looked at what the options were, how we played and how we were being played against, you know what, we were never going to match the legs and energy that they could have brought on in the midfield for the injuries that we had, or sickness, players that were sick and not available. So it was what it was. As mentioned earlier, and I think I might have started the comment, maybe we could have been a little critical of Pep in a sense of, does he trust and bring on Rico or Oscar Bob for 5-10 minutes of that game at the end, when maybe fresher legs could have made things a little more comfortable, and not having the potential of being ran through, because we saw when Klopp decided to use all 5 of his subs, because he was smelling blood. He wanted that win, that they were running through us a little bit. So let me say what Dre P says. He goes, exactly, Vader. Rico and Bob could do a job, in my opinion. We see other clubs with youth getting a chance and doing well. Even Palmer at Chelsea. Trust the youth for 15, 20 minutes if injuries hit. That's a fair point. I think you pick your battles, you pick your moments on when you bring those players on. Bringing both of them on, I don't know that would have been the case. Starting them, obviously not. But situationally,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I hear you, Gano. Yep.
Oh, sorry. But I think Pep does trust the youth when it comes to certain games. I mean, he plays Rico in the Champions League. That's a
Yeah.
big competition,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And Rico, Oscar can play in the Champions because it's not as physical. It's more relaxed. So he plays them there to get them game time and get them used to the system. And they played well. I think Rico had a man of the match performance a couple of months ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you think he's going to play Rico or Oscar Bob against Liverpool, you want to risk the points. This early in the season.
Well, that's
can't do that.
and I think that's Dre P's point. He's like, he could have seen them, maybe not necessarily starting, but having them on, having an impact, just with fresher legs. I've seen Rico trusted to play a little further up the pitch. He actually had Rico playing that 10 role. I forget which game it was. When he was subbed on.
From a coaching perspective, let me explain to you the mentality of, because I coach. I have a team that we play, right?
Yeah, please.
When you pick out your best, your first 11, you put them out there. You really don't want to change that 11. Let me be clear, right?
Okay.
You don't want to change that 11 because you have everything planned, and you see what's happening on the field. If it's going well, you keep it. Now, if there's a disaster, there's a problem, red card, somebody's completely off form, not doing well, then you take them off, right? But if it's going well, within a tolerance level, coaches don't want to make changes, man.
Yeah.
Now, if the game is done, if it's 3 or 4 or 5-0, it's done, they can make a change. That's the mentality behind how coaches think. We don't like making changes to the teams. We don't like it at all.
No, I got you.
We
I
pick the 11 to play the game because we believe the 11 can win the game. And we only make changes when we need to really make the change. If we're not convinced about it, we stick with 11 and play it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zeno goes, Alvarez in the 10 is massively reducing our fluidity and ball retention.
So what do you want to do? Play him where?
No. So we'll just address the point, not necessarily what would be the correction. But I think obviously Alvarez is attacking minded, and I love that about him. I love how he attacks. I love how he looks for goal. I also like how he looks, especially for attacking players, to try to get the ball to them, because we've seen some nice 1-2, some combination play between him, Holland, him, Foden.
People forget Veta, right? People forget the pass he gives to, I think, Doku or Jack in the United game that split the whole team open.
Yeah.
People forget the big moments that he does, and they focus on one thing he doesn't do in one game, and they criticize it for that. We need to grow beyond that as a fan base, right? We need to look at the whole, not just each. That's how we're going to grow. If not, we'll just become this, like United fans. Wenger out or Ten Hag out because something. No, we need to look at the whole, not just the eaches.
Yeah. No,
is Alvarez a number 10? Is he De Bruyne? No. Right?
Yeah.
But if you want to play Foden in that number 10 role, then who plays wide right?
Right.
Because Jack is sick. You got to play Oscar Bob wide right?
Yeah.
Or you got to play Bernardo wide right. Okay, then who plays centrally next for Bernardo?
No,
right?
I hear
These are the calculations that the coaches make.
Mm-hmm.
So just trust the process, I'm
in agreement. Zeno, and we got Mankini Way joined. Happy to have you on the show. Good to see you again. Hope you're doing well.
Good evening. Good evening, Carl. How is everyone?
We're all good.
Hello,
man.
Martin. Good to hear from you again today.
We're all good, man. We were just talking about fluidity and retention, and again, I think what Pep has asked Alvarez to do, and it's not necessarily natural for him. I think he's doing a very good job. Is he learning? Is he adapting? Yes. I think what can spring more, and Martin, let me know if you agree with this. But and I said this on your show. If you guys haven't tuned into the Mancunian Way or subscribe, please do that. But the first 15, 20 minutes of the game, when we would get early possession, dispossess Liverpool, and then look onto the other attack, there's often where, because Haaland is already high up that pitch, applying pressure to Van Dijk or Matip, he's going on the shoulder and he's ready to run into space. And not a slight, because this doesn't just fall at Alvarez, but player to player, no one really looks, and we've said this, no one really looks first to see, is Haaland on the move? Can I get it to him? There's a little bit too systematic right now. And I don't think it falls to Alvarez, Zeno, but there is a fluidity that comes naturally when you have someone that's exceptional, someone that's world-class like KDB, right? So I think we can get there. I think there's going to be modifications. And like Carl said, who else do we put in that role? Martin, would you suggest someone else to play in that role without KDB right now?
The only one is Foden, but Pep doesn't want to do that, and that's up to Pep. It's no slight on Alvarez. I think I said this earlier on. Do you know what it is? Fans get very giddy very quick. We're all like children. Let's be straight now. And what I mean by that is, and it's an example, and the trouble is, sometimes you get scared, and no one should be scared of using players as examples, because you're not actually slating anyone. You're not actually being, you're critiquing, but in a constructive way.
Yeah.
It's like, do you remember last season? Carl, you remember this? Do you remember when we changed last season? I think it was after the Forest game, when we went to this inverted box and we went to this 3-box-3, or the 3-2-2-3. And we were going to go with all this control. What did every fan do then? Can anyone remember what did every fan do? Nearly to a man.
Well, no one liked it. No,
they all went into a meltdown. Yeah. It was boring. What we doing? Don't understand why John Stones is inverting. What's this John Stones inverted this all about? Blah, blah, blah. And it's happened again this season. Alvarez starts off at number 10, doing very well, scoring goals. By the way, Alvarez will always score goals because that's his job. He's a natural goal scorer.
Yeah. He's got a great
shock horror, breaking news to everyone. He scores goals. But you're not going to get the same killer ball from an Alvarez as what you do with KDB.
No.
Because breaking news, he's not KDB.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Same way we did with Calvin Phillips. Why is Calvin Phillips not doing what Rodri's doing? Because he isn't Rodri.
Yeah.
Right? Shock horror again to this one. Why is it Kanji not doing this inverting role like John Stones? Because he's not John Stones.
Right.
And then what we do is, no, he did, but you know what I mean? I'm using it more as a concept. No. And it's like, do you remember the doc? Like I said it on my show, 20 minutes ago. I think you just come on, or you were just coming up. Fans had bigged up Jeremy Doku to a level of Lionel Messi, and he's world class and he's amazing. And I went, he's 21, just relax, let the guy develop. He's going to have some good games, he'll have some bad games. It's not a problem. And then all of a sudden, because he's had so games against Liverpool or Chelsea or whatever in terms of his final ball. Well, no, but what I mean is in terms of his finishing, in terms of his final ball. But that's the part of being a young 21-year-old coming into a Pep system, coming into a team. It takes time. Alvarez is not going to play KDB. And then what happens is, because you big these players up so high, you don't know then how to come back down again. And this is why I said,
I think
just relax and let players develop at their own rate. And not only that, we've changed it.
Yeah.
Because you just said about Haaland going quick. Well, because we're not doing the 15-minute build-up anymore. We're trying to get the ball up quicker now. So that's going to take time to adapt. Let's. I don't get it. I think fans, this is why I say kids, because they want it now.
Exactly. This is the issue. And we talked about this earlier on, Marta, that the issue right now is that people are used to FIFA, back and forth, go. Instead of saying, listen, we're still there, 1 point behind, 13 games played, we're there. Normally we're 6 points behind. Let's be clear. 6 or 5 or 10 points behind at one point in time. Right? We had no De Bruyne, no Stones, no Jack, no Kovacic. Nunez was on the bench, whatever he was doing, right? 5 players out. And yesterday, Liverpool had a full squad. Made 5 changes, made none. Still couldn't beat us. Chelsea.
For me, and I think I'm hoping people see this. Playing Bournemouth, and this is no disrespect, playing Burnley, playing Bournemouth, I'm sounding so disrespectful here, but I'm not trying to be. And then playing Liverpool, Chelsea, etc., are very different tasks. They're very different games. You're not going to get the room and the space. Your fullback for Liverpool's or your fullback for Arsenal's or your fullback for Real Madrid's are not as bad as a fullback for Bournemouth or a midfielder for Bournemouth. And I'm not trying to make that in a discredit way. Is let's just relax a little bit and let's see what happens.
But even yesterday, I thought he was amazing. I thought he was a man of the match. The chances he created in the byline, where we couldn't finish. Right? I mean, no other winger was doing that.
I'll be honest with you, Carl. I thought he ran past Trent. I don't think the ball came in good enough. But that's okay. I don't think he did put the ball in well. I thought that was his issue.
I saw it.
Hold on. We're talking Doku?
Yeah, I saw it. He was good.
I honestly think I thought he was hesitant in his final ball. There was an example where Haaland had gone, but he played the ball to Alvarez, and the right ball was to Haaland. But he'll learn that over time.
Yeah, that was more. That was when he was a little more central. But to go with when it was more of the left-sided play with regards to what Doku was doing, whether it was getting past Trent or getting past Matip. Yeah, what I think. And again, I'm going to watch the game for a third time. If I have the ability, I'm going to put up these clips if I can. But what I like about what Doku does is when he gets past his man, that's the first thing we want you to do. Create a opportunity, create what Carl would say a numerical advantage. You've now taken your player out of the mix. So now the right center back needs to pay attention to me, or a midfielder is coming to chase me down. Now that I have that, now I want the game to slow down for Doku a little bit. I want him to. Is he going to look for a shot? Is he going to look for Haaland? Does Haaland know to run to the 6?
That's what I mean by decision making. That's what I meant by it. But running past Trent was never the issue. It was the final ball.
But it's a combination.
It was the correct decision.
Because now I want to use this example though. Because now when the ball was on the other side, and we saw a little bit of miscommunication. It's just knowing where to be. We saw whether I think it might have been Foden that sprayed a pass that went across and it was going far post, right?
Yeah, and Foden didn't run to the back post. Yeah, I know the one you mean. Yeah.
So it happens on both sides. What I would love to see is when we get into those situations, and whether it's systematic, whether it's routine. Doku, we know he's going to cook whoever's over there. Haaland, be ready to run into that 6-yard box. Foden, be ready to be far post, and whether it's Alvarez or whoever we happen to be, someone else needs to be slightly top or inside that 18-yard box. Let's have those options, because if Doku's beating a man and his only line of sight is to get it to Haaland, we know Haaland's going to have 2 players paying attention to him anyways.
But Veda, again, to Monte's point, right? This takes time.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we're not. It's been there for 3.5 months.
Yeah.
3.5 months. And in those 3.5 months, we had 2 international breaks, by the way. Right?
Yeah.
Right? It takes time. This takes time for them to get the right connections that we're looking for the things to fire off. And yet, we're still there.
Yeah.
That's the key. We're still there.
No.
Yeah, and that's all I meant earlier about the Bournemouth thing. Because he did it against Bournemouth,
Yeah.
when it doesn't come off against another team,
Yeah.
you get, well, why can you do it against Bournemouth and not then? And that's where I find the criticism stupid at that point.
Yeah, but here's what I want to call out. Daniel, great comment, because he goes, I agree. Alvarez is not a 10. He can play there against the small teams, like a Bournemouth.
Actually, that's not actually factual. I mean, Alvarez is not a 10 for City. He's a 10 for Argentina, and he's 10 for River Plate. So let's be clear, right? We're looking at De Bruyne as a mold for that number 10. He's not a De Bruyne.
No,
he's
I
not
agree.
a 10 is incorrect.
Would you say he's but would you say he's a natural 10?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
That's what he played all his life for Argentina, for River Plate. That's what he does. He plays right behind the striker. That's what he does.
All right.
But he's not a City kind of 10, that kind of free roaming De Bruyne-esque kind of playmaker. He's not that. He's never going to be that.
Fair.
See, I wouldn't call him a 10. I know what Carl's saying. I would call it more of a second striker behind.
I know. Yeah.
If that makes sense. I don't mean it as in I think this is what I mean. We get confused between a straight 10 and a second striker. So like David Silva, David Silva was a straight 10. KDB is a straight 10.
Yeah.
Alvarez could be the striker who plays off a striker. And it's not quite a 10 because when we look at a 10,
it's a 9.5, almost like a 9.5.
Yeah, right? We're basically looking at a KDB David Silva who's going to play eye of the needle balls through, or play 30-yard balls over the top, pinpoint straight onto the foot. No. We don't mean that kind of a 10. We're talking. It's like a second striker a little bit. It's a complicated way to. I'm trying to look at it from a coach's point of view of when you. And I'm sorry, I might be using coaching words, but that's what a second striker is someone. Yeah, he sits behind the striker, but in front of the 10. If that makes sense, he's in that. He's like the edge of the box guy.
Right. He's not a. I mean, he's not a KDB. There's nobody in world. There's no one in world football like De Bruyne. There is nobody.
Yeah.
There is no one like him. There's
Plus,
nobody in the Premier League like De Bruyne.
He's tired. I've said now for 4 games he looks leggy. And that's because the guy's played so much football and so much pressure on him.
Won everything.
The guy now needs a break.
Yeah, and he keeps winning. He just keeps winning. Now, I'm going to put this up. I'm going to put this up. And again, apologies. Everyone in the comments has been fantastic. Hopefully, all of you have liked it. If you can, and you're coming to here and it's not a live show, you're catching the video, please share it, like, subscribe. But I wanted to put this example up. And when I talk about moments in the game, releasing some of the passes, this is a quick transition. If you can't see it on screen, you're going to see Doku top left, Haaland's right here in the middle, and I believe it's Alvarez running with the ball. Knowing, if you can see this, there's space where the ball can be placed for Haaland just to run onto, because we know he'll put a shoulder into that looks like Van Dijk. He'll put a shoulder into Matip. It's these passes that I want to see a little more of, and it's difficult. Even when KDB pulls them off, we know how difficult of a pass it is to make. But it's moments like these that we need to see a little more of. And I'm going to have this play through YouTube. Do not copy strike me. This is strictly for learning and studying purposes. But I'm gonna play this out, and then we can kind of see this. So the pass is missed, right? And Haaland's going to do his best not to creep offside. But we see the amount of attention that he garners, and then as it continues to play, it gets sent out to Foden. And I think player to player, we didn't have the best of games. And some of our decision making, like Carl mentioned, our decision making is going to be there because it's going to be players playing together, players knowing, okay, you know what, I did this last time, it didn't quite come off. Oh, now I know where you prefer to get the ball or what kind of space you like to run into, and we'll just be better for it. But in this instance, I'm gonna play this out. Foden gets the ball, gets it to a strong left. Alvarez kept running. Haaland stays there occupying in the center. And Foden decides to take a shot where we know Foden can kind of do that hidden cut pass. There's just elements like that I think, whether it's Doku, whether it's Foden, whether it's Alvarez, I think we're all going, as a team, we're all going to be better off for it. And we just weren't as sharp as we tend to be, but we know we'll get there. So I want to share that example. I also want to say, CIA episode 21, we talked about how tough this league is going to be and how tough it is already. And it's tough for many reasons. The fact that we're treble three-peat champions trying to win a fourth is going to be incredibly difficult. It's also difficult because of what we've seen our oppositions do in terms of spending. I don't know. I've heard rumors. I don't know whether they're going to be spending in January. I do hear a lot from the rivals in terms of how they're positioning to spend in January. And we know that they're going to make it as difficult as they can to make this four-peat not possible for us. But with what we're going to do weekly, we're going to do a review preview. Okay. I'm tight on time, unfortunately, tonight. I have Gundalorian Pitch Points, fantastic channel. All his details are in the description of this one. Mancunian Way, Martin, his channel details are in the description. True City Fan wasn't able to join tonight. Klilnical weren't able to join, but all those channel details are there as well. I want to encourage you, please subscribe to them. Please know that this show is going to be happening on the regular. I see all of the comments, and I want to shout you all out, from Daniel Super City to Connor to I'm always going to butcher your name, but I'm going to say IX at the end. I'm going to just deal with the last letters of your name at the end. But you happen to say Doku still not built. I still not built the connection with Haaland and Alvarez. Missed their runs, mainly Haaland, and he looks frustrated. Big bright spark for us, and with time, this will improve. You're absolutely right. Thanks for being a part of the show. But from Daniel to Super City, I mentioned Connor early on. Zane, Abdallah, DC was in the building. Zeno, I mentioned Dane, Dre P, and Girl RK, DDD. All of you, thank you so much for dropping a comment. If you've hit that like button, I want to thank you as well. I want to thank the time that was spent on this channel for Martin and Carl. Fantastic football minds, City fans. Anything you guys want to talk about that may be happening Monday?
I'll just say one thing. Just say one thing. I just want us to be together. Martin and I have had our disagreements on many things, but at the end of the day, right, the rivals won't like us and they want to divide us. We just need to stick together. All of us, whether we're winning, whether we're losing. I keep saying that this team, what they've done in the past 5 years for us as a fan base, if they win nothing this year, we should still clap for them, still celebrate them. They won the treble. They won 3 Premier League titles. They won the Champions League. How many FA Cups? So we just need to just give them some slack and just allow them to recover back the energy and the strength. That's just what we need to do. And as a fan base, we just need to be there. Whether we win it or not, it's cool. But just be there for them. It's hard to coach and to play every 3 days and win and win and win and win when everybody doesn't like you, everybody's against you, even the Premier League is coming after you. It's hard. Let's just give them some slack. Let's all work and fight together as a team.
No, it's a good point. Martin, how about yourself? Anything you want to mention with regards to Monday or this upcoming week?
Yeah, we're going to do a show on, well, sounds a bit negative, but I don't mean it to be. Bit of a show on Manchester City overall, the admin part of the club. Let's put it that way. Ticket version of the club. There were some issues this weekend within the ground, sadly. That I don't think the club are helping themselves too much. Let's put it that way. There's got to be a balance found, I think. I've had some interactions with the club themselves that I've now got an official complaint in about, which is not good. So things I've had to deal with from a personal standpoint.
You know what? Reviews, reviews, critiques, just sharing stories. It's not necessarily a negative thing. It's signs or it's opportunities for improvement. So yeah, your next
that's what the City Matters group are there for, and other things. And it's about reaching out and trying to give some experience, because the problem is there were some issues within the ground on Saturday with many pockets of Liverpool fans all over the place, which did affect the atmosphere. Because I know there's been a lot said about the atmosphere for Saturday, but I think some of that was a little bit self-inflicted. So there has to be a better way around. And again, it's just to try and bring us all together. And we need the club's help as well. Can't just all be on the fans. The club have got to help out as well and realise that the club will make errors sometimes. And it's just about, can we get all back on the same page and rolling? I'm just seeing a little bit of don't know what it is. I know you need to leave, but I think it's more of, since these Everton charges have come out, I think there's a little bit of nervousness crept into the fan base.
Really?
Yeah, and it needs to sort of just, we need to all become one. But that includes the club as well.
If you're tackling some of that on the show, I'll definitely look to join or definitely tune in.
Yeah, because I do think that was part of the issue with the atmosphere on Saturday. I know there was some, but still a little bit, because the trouble is, it's gone out onto, I put a tweet out the other day about a local radio station, well, not local, but a national radio station over here called TalkSport. And, too many people are listening to the wrong people. And they're being influenced by the wrong people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it needs to stop. It needs to stop. And
exactly.
That also goes for the club as well. The club needs to help the fans. And the fans need to help the club. We all need to row in one direction.
Okay. Well, that's definitely a combo that's going to be happening on the Mancuni way. I'm going to do my best to be a part of it. As Martin was speaking, and those of you that were watching and watching as well as listening, I had this example of when the ball got switched over to Doku. Doku got past his man, no problem. Got into the mix, squared it to Alvarez, and now it's the same thing. The same way we're asking Alvarez for maybe the game to slow down a bit. He made an excellent decision getting the ball to. The same way we were talking about Doku to kind of have the game slow down a bit. He made an excellent pass getting it to Alvarez. Alvarez we could argue needs to do the same thing, slow the game down, because I think, and as he played it, he could have slipped a pass into Foden, and just on the edge of the screen right there, he could have slipped a pass over to Haaland, who was there on the right with his left foot. So if we create opportunities like that, I'm going to be cool with it. Because I think we're going to make the right decision more often than not with familiarity. So on that note, I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of the channel. I'm Vader Games TV. I had Pitch Points, Gundelorian. I had Mancunian Way, Martin on the show. Please subscribe and support. Be part of the next show, which is going to be Why Always Me, either on Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll confirm. Follow me on Twitter and know the notifications on YouTube. But thank you all for being a part of it. I'm Vader Games, and for Gundelorian and Martin, thanks for being here. I'm out.
Yep.